I've been seeing this trend of videos going around for a little while called anti-hauls or items I don't buy anymore. And I thought that it would be really fun to do one of these because I used to do so many haul videos. For those of you who followed me for a really long time, you know, like there has been so much shopping shared on this channel. The videos are all still up. The evidence is there. If you're new here, I used to do a lot more beauty focused content for years. I was doing like tutorials and clothing hauls and makeup hauls and hauling everything I bought basically. And I'm not saying I wouldn't do a haul video ever again. I probably will, but my shopping habits have changed so drastically over the last few years that there are so many things I used to shop for constantly that I never purchase anymore. The first thing I no longer shop for is sales. Now, I'm not saying that I won't purchase an item if it's on sale, like I only pay full price. What I mean is I don't actively seek out sale events because I found that the thrill of getting discounts will heavily motivate my decision to purchase something. Back in the day, I would shop sales for sport. I would go into a sale not needing anything, not knowing what I was going to get, but I just wanted to see what I could get at a discount. Like I was the girl, this actually happened one year. I think when I was 16, it was Black Friday and it was like 4 a.m. and I was lined up outside of Target. And you know on Black Friday, they always send out the news crews to interview shoppers about the experience. And they interviewed me for the news and they were like, what are you out here to get today? And I was like, I don't know. I just want to see what's on sale in that store. And for me, the problem with sales has always been that I won't really need something, but you get in your head about it and you're like, but it's 40% off. That's such a good deal. It's not as much money. And then you end up accumulating stuff that you don't actually need or want or like. So now I avoid sales unless there's actually something on my list of things that I need that I can try to get a discount for, because if I need something, then I'll use a coupon code or try to find it on sale. The next thing that I no longer purchase is decor and knickknacks. I used to be borderline allergic to any empty space in my home. If there was a blank wall, I had to cover it with something. If there was an empty shelf, I needed to put little trinkets on it. But the thing that I found with decor is it's special to you for like a week and then it becomes a part of your like just normal surroundings and you don't notice it anymore. It just becomes like white noise in your space. I hate it now. I don't like decor anymore. I love a big blank wall. And then in the same thread, I also no longer shop for seasonal decorations. It used to be that like if Halloween was coming up, I had to go buy glittery pumpkins that I could set around my house, stuff to string up and orange fairy lights. And then I eventually realized that I really only enjoy those items for 2 weeks out of the year. And then the other 50 weeks of the year, I have to store them somewhere that's taking up space in my home. And when you live in Seattle in a tiny apartment, space is crucial. The next thing I no longer shop for is makeup. Who would have ever thought that there would come a day on this channel where I was saying I no longer shop for makeup? I've really streamlined my makeup routine over the last few years. I only use a handful of products and most days I don't wear makeup at all. I no longer wear or shop for foundation. I don't think I've worn foundation for a couple of years. I didn't even wear foundation on my wedding day. That is how much I don't like foundation anymore. I don't shop for eyeshadow anymore, which is crazy because back in the day when there was a new Urban Decay palette or a MAC limited edition release, like I had to have the eyeshadows. These days I don't even technically wear eyeshadow. I use my bronzer in my crease and a little bit of highlighter on my lid. I don't wear or shop for lip gloss or lipstick anymore. I only wear balms. I do wear mascara, like I do wear some makeup as you guys can see, and I only replace those like select few items when they run out. Another item I no longer shop for that is just crazy to even say is nail polish. I used to own hundreds of bottles of nail polish. I literally had those acrylic like nail salon holders on the wall of my bedroom storing my nail polish. I was obsessed and I never wear nail polish anymore, and I've actually found that I really like the look of natural nails. I don't even miss it. I also no longer shop for what I would consider to be excess skincare products. I used to be of the mindset that if I was using any fewer than 20 products in my skincare routine, I was doing it wrong. It was definitely more is more serums, toners, sprays, masks. Now these days, especially after talking to my dermatologist and asking her what I actually need to be using on my skin that's good for it, my skincare routine is so streamlined. I think I use 5 products total, and that's not even every day. Like that's all of the skincare products that I use in my regimen is 5, maybe 6 products. And then on the topic of skin, another product I no longer purchase is body wash in plastic bottles. I only purchase soap. I really like the Dr. Bronner's soap. They have a lot of different scents. It comes wrapped in paper, so it's just more sustainable, using less plastic. I also no longer purchase shaving cream. The soap that I use on my body is the soap that I use to shave. Another thing I try not to buy anymore is artificially fragranced products. And I say try because I'm not really an expert with ingredients. I just do the best that I can. I don't really buy perfume anymore, even though I know there are some natural perfumes. I just don't really buy or wear it. I used to use the Tide Spring Breeze or whatever it was called laundry detergent, and now I try to buy more natural laundry detergents. I also no longer shop for candles. You guys, if you know, you know. Back in the day, Bath and Body Works, I would go and buy so many candles. Market Peach, if any of you remember my obsession with Market Peach, let me know down in a comment below. And the thing is, I would always buy more candles than I could burn. Like, please let me know if you have been caught in this cycle as well. Like, Bath and Body Works would have their 3 for $30 sale on Black Friday, and I would have to get all the scents. But I would buy so many that I couldn't get through them all in a winter season. But of course, if you buy a whole bunch of Christmas candles on Black Friday, you don't want to still be burning them when spring comes and all the new spring scents are out. So then you have leftover winter candles from the previous season, but when the next winter comes around and all of the scents are brand new, you don't want to use last year's winter candles. You want to go and splurge on all of this year's new winter scents. And I started having this stockpile of Bath and Body Works candles, and it was just crazy. So I no longer buy candles. I also read somewhere, and I don't know what I'm talking about here, so I suggest you go Google this. But I read somewhere that a lot of candles are made with harmful chemicals, and when you burn the wax, those chemicals are being released into the air, and it's actually really bad for you. And that kind of spooked me, but I don't really know what to look for in ingredients for non-toxic candles, if that is an actual thing. So if you know more about this subject and you know of good candles to recommend that are not toxic, please let me know down in a comment below. The next thing I no longer purchase is specialty outfits. And by specialty outfits, I mean like occasion outfits. It used to be that if I had a fancy event coming up, I would go out and buy a gown for it. Or if I had a fun trip coming up and I wanted some whimsical flowy dresses, I would go out and buy some. But I always found that after those occasions, I didn't really have a use for those items because in my normal everyday life, I basically dress like this. I don't wear fancy dresses and I don't have a use for a gown after one event. So about 6 months ago, I had some trips on the horizon and I had a couple of fancy events that I needed to figure out something to wear for. And I decided to finally try Rent the Runway. I've heard about Rent the Runway for years. It's a clothing site where you rent clothes and then send them back when you're done using them. And I personally loved it because I got to wear amazing clothes. Like, I went to Mexico for a trip and I wanted some like flowy, breezy dresses, and the retail value of the dresses that I rented was well over $2,000. I rented some expensive dresses and I got to wear them on my vacation without the price tag of actually buying them. And then once I was done, I sent them all back. So now I'm of the mindset that if I have a special occasion or I want a certain wardrobe for a trip, I will just rent those items. It's much cheaper than paying full price to buy them, and I don't have to worry about stuff I'm not wearing piling up in my closet after those events are over. The next thing I no longer purchase is handbags. I actually don't even usually use a handbag anymore. When I leave my home, there's usually only 3 things I take with me. It's my phone, my keys, and my little tiny card wallet that I think I actually have right here in my jacket pocket. And unless it's summer, I usually have some sort of at least a light jacket on me that all of those things can fit in the pockets, so I don't have a need for a handbag. And if I do feel like I want a bag with me, I usually just use a small camera bag, so I can also bring a camera along if I want to. The next item I will not purchase anymore is uncomfortable shoes, in particular heels. Oh man, I used to own so many pairs of high heels, like high skinny stiletto heels. I convinced myself that the pain was worth the look. and that is no longer the case. Moving away from beauty and wardrobe, I feel like there was a lot of that in this list. Another thing I no longer purchase is physical books. I switched to an e-reader quite a while ago. It's been several years since I made the switch to a Kindle, and I was really on the fence about doing it because there is something so nice about a brand new crisp book with like the pages, you can smell it, you know? And I get that there are people who will never give up their physical books. I'm not here to be like, everyone should switch to an e-reader, but after making the switch, I actually found that I much preferred the e-reader, and I loved that I could get on a kick and read a whole bunch of books and not feel clutter of those books stacking up. And then the last thing I avoid purchasing these days is souvenirs when I go on trips. I used to, whenever I would travel, I would make a point of buying something on that trip because I felt like I needed a token, a physical token to bring home with me. But it always ended up that I would get home and I would set it somewhere and then it would just collect dust and I wouldn't use it. So these days I pretty much never buy any trinkets when I'm traveling. I actually would much prefer to put that money toward hiring a local photographer wherever I'm going so I can get photos to remember my trip by. The site that I usually use to do that is Flightographer. I've talked about them before. I've used them all over the world. I would much rather have like photo memories of my trip than an item that's just gonna go home and collect dust and will probably eventually be decluttered. And that's it. Those are the items that I no longer shop for. I would love to know if there's anything that you've stopped buying. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you know when new videos are posted. And before I go, let's talk about today's sponsor, Squarespace. If you have some downtime right now and you need a website, Squarespace is the easiest way to build one. You can build a store, a portfolio, a blog. There's tons of layouts to choose from. They have 24/7 customer service. So head over to squarespace.com to sign up for a free trial. And when your site is looking good and ready to launch, visit squarespace.com/Allison Anderson to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys are doing well and I will see you next time.